There's still there's still gas in there. It didn't catch flame. Next up, before I do anything else, there's one more important thing that I have to fit in this engine bay, and that would be the wiper blade assembly. And it's quite tight in this area right where this breather tube is and where my timing chain tensioners are. However, I am going to use the Volkswagen wiper assembly because they work very well. I've used them in Mini Rick, and I used somewhat of a rear wiper blade assembly in the R1, and they both just work perfectly. But it is such a big unit, and it makes it complicated to fit with the motor facing longitude here. And off camera, I already been fettling. I was able to clock the motor. I drilled some new holes here, and I clocked it so this would sit more inboard the motor here. And it's still very close to here, and I don't want to, let me rephrase that. I don't want to do two new holes. I want this assembly to be more on this side of the car if possible because of the gauge cluster going in here and where the steering rack goes, or the steering column goes. So I'm going to utilize this pin here in this hole, and I'll just drill out a new hole over here somewhere. So this one will fit here, and I can drill my new hole over here wherever it corresponds. And it is a tight fit here, but I think I can make it work. The only other thing would just be lengthening and shortening wiper blades themselves. I can have a longer one and a short one, which is quite common in most cars these days. So it should be fine. So let's get this hole drilled here. I'm just grabbing whatever I have. As far as I don't have a measuring tape handy, but if that's the center right there, this should live somewhere right here. Yeah, we'll go right there. Battery's almost dead. We'll see how far we get. Alright, so my battery died, and I charged it in the shop for about a half hour. I can keep going, but I did make my hole here. It is all set. And I did trial fit this wiper assembly, and it fits pretty good. So I'm thinking somewhere kind of like that. Now, while the battery was dead, I did go ahead and make some tabs, and I'm going to weld them on the underside of this valance. I'll just do a couple holes up here and just do some slug welds, plug welds, rosette welds. It'll get welded. These are them right here. So they'll just kind of hang upside down here and just get plug welded in top here. So I did a lot of surface area, hoping the pinna would not warp with the weight of this unit. It's really not that heavy, but I think with two of them it'll be okay. If anything, I can make some mounts underneath the firewall here, but I really want to avoid that. I just want to kind of keep these hidden, nice and sleek, simple, and hopefully they'll just work and do the thing. It's quite a bit of holes here. I'm scared it's going to warp when I weld it, but we'll just take our time. Should be okay. Let me make these one size up. I wonder if those are big enough. Be sure to clean the undersides because you know the burrs are pointing down and not going to sit flat, so you got to get the bottom too. Perfect. Now I just need to get the paint off of the holes and we can get these things plug welded. All right, that should be good. Hey. Ah, just doesn't make it. It's all right. We'll just hold it up with my hand the old-fashioned way. I got nothing else to clamp that with. I need a deep clamp. Don't have it. All right, let's get these tabs welded and see how this shit goes. Tell you what, I don't like doing this lefty. I got nothing to prop my hand on, so I can't get like the perfect weld I want. It's all right. Just try and do this one right here in the middle. All right, I'm gonna let these cool off to try and help aid in not warping the crap out of this valance, making it less bond to work later on in the build. All the plug wheels went pretty good. I'll go back and fill this hole later and grind it smooth at the same time as I do it all, because I'm not really worried about that for now. I just want to get this wiper assembly bolted in. There's not much flex. There's like a little bit, but that's like me really putting some oomph into it. All right, so I have a tab like this. It's already cut and already bolted in right here. It moves a little bit. So I'm just gonna do a tack weld right there to the rack without a mask, because I can't really fit in here. So let's see, I'm just gonna prop this up where I think I want to live, which looks good right there. All right. So that's a good tack on that one. I'll get the bolt out of this other side. Let's see if we can aim the light. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Get the bolt out of here. Where's my other tab? Here's my other tab. Just gotta do the old eye it out real quick. Alright, we'll give it a cut and we'll bring it back and weld it in. Alright, let's see how I did here. Something tells me it's not in the right spot. Ah, nah, we're golden here. Alright, right there is nice and snug. Come on. All right, take this block out. Looks like we have a little bit of movement here, but I'll get this out fully welded and we'll try it again. But with my hands, I can move it not sideways, but back and forth. So I might need another tab in here or two. All right, yeah, let's get this out. Ooh, it's a hot bolt. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Okay. All right, my tabs here are fully welded on now. They're still kind of hot, but I want to stick this back in the car right now anyways and see how it's looking. I'm going to see if now that's fully welded, if it got rid of some of that movement I got, but I probably doubt it. Looks like my holes aren't lining up, which is odd because they lined up before I welded it. The fuck happened here? Did it shrink on me or something? Yeah, it looks like my holes moved on me, which is crazy because I did 2 big taps. Nice. We are mounted and it clears everything I need to clear. I hope. Nice. All right. Does a full rotation on the motor, on the arms. It doesn't hit nothing, so that's cool. But there is some back and forth movement here, so I gotta see if maybe I'll have to add in one more mount somewhere to try and straighten that out. I might have to do it on this bottom of the firewall here, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Maybe next time in the shop. I'm gonna call it tonight. Quick intermission. We got some packages in today. If you guys already know what this is, I think I know what it is. Haha. Ooh, not too bad, not too bad. All right, now to see if this screw will finally fit in front of the radio without hitting anything. I like that they have the slots here too, it's cool. Ah, perfect. Doesn't hit a damn thing. It actually looks like I have more room if I needed to come even more forward. All right, up next, I want to try and simplify this fuel rail a little bit. It looks like I got the return after the regulator comes down here and does like a weird swirly loop right here, then exits right here. And I don't think you really need all this extra crap, if you know what I mean. I want to simplify this. Also, this coolant pipe is going to have to live between the fuel rail and the intake, and it's super tight in there because I made it super tight. But yeah, I'm gonna take the fuel rail off and slim this up. All right, let's bring this over to the table. All right, at first glance, this is a magnet. This is appears to be stainless steel. So yeah, I should be able to weld to that, cut it. But what I want to do, chop it right here at the elbow right here, and just put a flare right there, or a barbed end, and get rid of this loop right here. Maybe do another tab on here to keep it nice and strong. I think that's why they do the whole loop, because they weld it right here in the bottom, and it keeps it from moving all around the place and bending and breaking and cracking over time. But I just don't like how it loops in front of here. I want to just keep it on that side, you know, and it should be fine. So I'll get these injectors off. think there's still gas in here, so I probably want to get that out before I start cutting and welding this thing like an animal. Got to get these out very carefully without breaking them, because I'm going to reuse them. Oh yeah, there's still gas in there. Oh yeah. I guess I'll just take out all the injectors just to be safe and make sure I get all the gas out of here. Except that one. That one's not fun. Come on, you bugger. These are a pain in the ass to get out. Oh yeah, this thing's leaking gas. Alright, I think I'm going to bring it over to the air compressor and get the rest of the gas out of this as much as I can before I start making some sparks fly over here. Now I don't think it would explode, but it probably would catch some big flame. Alright, I think I got all the gas off, or gas out of this as best as I can. So we're going to find out what happens. I'm going to get this clip off here first and get this line off. Probably just get some new rubber hoses at some point. These are all like dry and rotted and cracked and everything. Yeah, not sure how that comes off. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut it. To hell with it. Alright, so it's just got a barbed fitting here. I'm going to save that and utilize it. I'll just cut it and I'm just going to weld it on the backside. I guess I might as well get the supply tube off too while I'm right here. Get a wrench here for it. Jesus. There's still gas in there. It didn't catch flame. Oh yeah. All right, next I'm gonna cut off this barbed section. That's the part I need. Alright, I think that's good. Got the paint off it, cleaned up the end a little bit. Okay, this is where we're at. I did get the fuel regulator part out. That's good that I did because it has rubber stuff in here and stuff that can't get hot, it'll melt. So now it's just a bare bone piece of metal fuel rail here. I'm gonna just cut the rest of this off. Like so. And then next, we're going to drill this out. So I'm not just going to put the barb right here. I'm actually going to do something a little differently. But yeah, that will fit in there, and then I can just TIG weld this, allegedly. Here's my other piece of fuel rail, and I'm going to be cutting off this section here. Alright, so I got my barb and this little L piece right here. I'm just going to TIG weld these together real quick. Pretty sure this is stainless steel. It could be like Inconel 2 or something, but either way, I'll get it welded up and it should hold up. I just finally finished off the fuel rail. All I did was make this little tab right here to hold the end of this barb fitting here. And it's all nice and tight. It's good. Not much flex. A little bit of flex, but that's to be expected. It's just a thin piece of tube in here. All right, next we're going to do the coolant, which is going to tie into this back mount down here. And we're going to bring it up and come down here. All right, here's the game plan. So normally this would sit somewhere right here. And this gets plugged in down here. But as you can see, I already made my cut. So this is already cut. This is great. And instead of using this guy, I found this old blue pipe, maybe about 2 feet long. Naturally, I cut it to length. And now we have this piece here. And it fits perfectly between the intake manifold and the fuel rail here. So all I gotta do next is connect this elbow piece from here to here. And it looks like all I need is a little pie cut. So I'll get that made up and get it welded in. I'm not going to TIG weld this. This isn't stainless like the fuel rail was. So this can just get regular MIG welded, and I'll just grind it back smooth. And then later on we'll do a test in some water and make sure it's leak free. Alright, I got my little pie cut right here. It's nothing too much to brag about, but it does fit right in here, I believe, like so. And now we'll just go right there. I almost want to do this without gloves because it's tight right here. Yeah, I can't do it. The gloves are too big. I think right there. Now when I do these tacks like this, I usually grind them all back down and I do another pass over it when I'm doing my final grind down, because you get those little pinholes. I can't really show it or explain it, but for those who know what I mean, you know what I mean. I think I'm gonna do this all in one shot here. So I want to make sure I get enough crappy tacks in this so when I pull it out it doesn't flex, because right now I can still flex it with my thumb at the other end. Over here you probably can't see. Can't really get any tacks underneath it like I'd like to. Realistically, I should have just welded this piece on fully first before I start doing this piece, but I really don't feel like bolting this in and out more than once. I just want to do it. I'm impatient, so I'm trying to do it all in one shot. The only downfall with this is now it's trapped under the regulator here, so I have to take the fuel rail off first to take this off. I don't think it's going to squeeze past here, which I knew that going into it. But yeah, let's get this unbolted. think getting these Allen wrenches back in here is going to be a pain in the ass, actually. Actually, I probably don't even have to take it all the way out. I think I can just leave them loose, and then I can have enough play to sneak it by. I keep hearing noises in the alleyway. Gets spooky here at nighttime. Haha. Hey, you like that? Ooh, look at them welds. Ooh, that's trash. Gotta have faith though, trust me. All right, I got my piece here, and it came out pretty good. Let's get this thing bolted in. Make sure she fits. All right, next we need another securing tab with this hole right here. The old pipe already had one right here. Maybe I'll just cut this one off and weld it on this pipe. Who knows? The cool thing about using this old bracket is that now when it's welded on, we know that it's a truly authentic OEM part going back on this car, which is great. So it's a Germany, Volkswagen, Audi. Bracket's fitted right down here. Let's see if I can get a tack weld underneath it, and then we'll pull it off and fully weld it. Don't know if it's going to be that easy though, getting a tack underneath, but we will try. Might have to go maskless for this one. Think I missed it. That's a pretty terrible tack. But if it stays put long enough to get it on the bench, we can get this fully welded. Nice, nice. Get this bolt out of here. Get my clamp out of here. It'll be golden. Oh, this sucks. I really gotta loosen this all up every time. Hey. Oh, look at that. Nice, gorgeous bead. Oh man, that looks terrible. It's all right. Show when it's done. It'll look beautiful when it's done. Not my best work, but also not my worst. But it should be up to the job to hold this pipe, give or take. I like to leave this protruding just a little bit whenever I can. In this case, it works good for me because I can just weld there. Now let's get a piece of little, I don't know, some coolant hose from here to here. All right, now I know what some of you guys might be thinking. I keep doing a bunch of hot tacks to get my pipes on. This is only thin walled tubing. It's only got to be 18 gauge, 20 gauge, I would imagine. And I have my welder set to as if I'm doing 1/8 inch material. So it is really, it's melting this pretty good. I mean, right here is a little high, but when I grind these smooth, like I said a little bit earlier, if there's any little pinholes, I just tack them again. This is non-structural, so this is the way that's easiest for me, instead of trying to do a one hot pass and blowing through pipe, because it is thin walled. So I like to just do a bunch of tacks as if I'm doing sheet metal on a panel, on a door or a fender or something. I don't always weld like this, but this works for me. All right, let's get this piece back off one last time, get it fully welded, and we'll call it a night. It almost makes it through without loosening this fuel rail, these bolts. I was kind of curious if it would. All right, get this bottom welded, and we'll bring it back to the car. So, here it is, the final piece in all its glory. Actually, I shouldn't say final, I have to add in a couple more things. But for the most part, this is pretty much done. It'll get me from the back part to the front part. A little bit of paint, primer, and it'll look awesome. I'm actually very happy about how this turned out. This is great. The fitment is perfect. Just need a hose down here. Another fitting under here for this other coolant hose. Just a little spigot, probably put it under here somewhere sneaky. And then there's one more that goes on top over here that goes to the reservoir bottle. Probably put it over here though. Something. Yeah, this packaged very well, very well. Nice and tight, simple, sleek.